The millionaire and the beggar are both learning lessons in abundance. So maybe can you go into that meaning with us?
Yeah. A lot of teachings that seem to be about, getting stuff and getting more and, almost an institutionalized commercialization of what manifestation is. And the guides say we're always manifesting. Everything that you see, they say you're in agreement to. And by agreement, that doesn't mean you approve of it. It means you're in alignment to it. So everything in your world, you're aligned to. The stuff that's working for you, the stuff that's not, because we're always in vibration and in co-resonance with what is of like vibration. So, the teaching that, the millionaire and the beggar are both learning lessons of abundance, we're here to learn. And the guides say it's we who make one thing higher or better than the other. We're the one that decides that the millionaire is worthy and the beggar is not. And that's our frame, and that's a cultural frame that we put on it. And, we can do that all we want to, but I suspect we're going to sort of miss the point of being if our sense of well-being or worth or identity is dependent on these things in such a way.
And another thing that you said was freedom will come when the throne relinquishes its king.
I was opening up and I was beginning to work with the guides, not like I do now. I wasn't lecturing until years later. But I was struggling, and I heard freedom will come when the throne relinquishes its king, and I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it on a piece of paper and I stuck it in a book, and it remained there for many years. And I do understand it now, and I think it's the essence of the entire teaching. And the guides say that the small self, which is the personality structure, sits in a small throne, rules a small kingdom. What he or she thinks should be and demands should be to confirm an idea of self. And they say the true self, which is the divine self, sits in a throne, aligns to what they call the kingdom, which is, they use the word the kingdom in a very specific way. They talk about the kingdom as the realization of the inherent divine, the God, or whatever you want to call God, that is in all things, in all presence. So the true self perceives the truth in what he or she experiences. The small self realizes himself through the stuff, the ideas of self. So I'm going to actually go to the guides on this one because they're going to say it better than I am. They're saying we would like to answer this, the true self, the divine as you, an operation in operation. So I'm all things is in alignment to all things of like vibrational accord. What exists in the kingdom? What exists in the kingdom simply is the realization, simply is the realization of the divine that's always been present, of the divine that has always been present, but oft denied, or severed from by the aspect of self, who believes herself to be in separation from source, of the small kingdom. So the small kingdom is the small self's idea, of a perpetuated reality, born through an identity that disfigures or dishonors her true identity, the divine as who she is, the divine as who she is. The divine sits in the throne. The divine sits in the throne. You may call it what you wish. The true self, the Christ self, the true self, the Christ itself, and aligns to the inherent divine, that is an expression, that is an expression in all manifestation, period. And they're saying period. So that's the unpacking.
I'm hearing that the small self that's related to what our ego wants to hold reign over is not what it's all about. And it's a matter of us figuring out the tools, maybe the techniques, or just the way to be in order to live a different route, accepting and creating a life where we're seeing the beauty in all things, where we're able to...
The challenge for me with this stuff seems to be that you can't sort of do this through force of will. You can do this through alignment, and you do need to operate with choice. We've been gifted with free will. So what aspect of self do I want to, come forward with? I mean, the guides often say, there's a few things they often say. One is the true self knows, the small self thinks. And you can test yourself anytime, the difference between, if you go to a time in your life when you knew something, I knew I was in love, I knew I got the job, I knew the relationship was over, that knowing has a palpable different resonance than I think I'm going to have the tuna at the restaurant tonight. I'm going to, go see my friend tomorrow. And the guides have explained this as, when you're in your knowing, there's no question. So when you begin operating from that place of true knowing, you begin to operate without all of the data of who we're supposed to be, which has been accrued, what we should aspire to, what we want to be like, or who we want to be like. All that stuff starts to dissipate because it's not real. They're just a bunch of ideas.
Yeah.
So, that's part of the transition, I suspect. The guides are teaching more and more about how to maintain a higher alignment, so that we're not sort of being pummeled back and forth, as I often am. Like every time somebody says something obnoxious to me, I'm back down of vibration because I have my reaction. And there are simple things that they teach of how to do this. For example, you can't be the light and hold another in darkness. We live in a world that invites us to judge and to damn. And the guides say, what you damn, who you damn, damns you back. And that's, again, a teaching of vibrational accord. Do you understand? Because the guides teach this thing in the new book. They call it the upper room. And they say it's just another level of vibration. It's the octave, they say, above that we're all agreeing to behave through here. And the guides often say you can't lift the evil man to the upper room because you have made him evil. And in you making him evil, you have aligned to that level of darkness or density. Yes. That's judgment.
What causes us to do that, you think?
Fear, the belief in separation. I think it's really that simple. It goes back to you can't be the light and hold another in darkness. It's so simple. So if what you bless blesses you in return, what you damn damns you back are the real simple ideas. So to lift the idea of the evil man to the upper room is to let go of the idea of the evil man and realize the inherent divine that still must be present. You see, the guides say, God must be, or whatever you want to call God, I don't think it matters to them, must be in all things or nowhere at all. They say what you put in darkness calls you to that darkness. And all that darkness is, as they say, the denial of the divine. They say the only real problem any of us have, collectively even, is what they call the denial of God, because what you deny God and you put in darkness.